Hello. Today we will focus on the ApeosPro 810 and give you a brief overview of the product. What we have here is a print engine that is the center of our configuration. It can print 81 pages a minute. The paper is fed from the left side of the machine, and this particular device is configured with an optional high-capacity feeder. This high-capacity feeder includes one additional tray, which we call Tray 6. The area above Tray 6 is used for storage. On the right-hand side of the machine, we have a D6 finisher with 3 output trays that staples, hole punches, and creates booklets. Now, let's look quickly at the inserter of the paper. So we have a high-capacity feeder with an additional Tray 6 that can also be optioned with Tray 7. We have Tray 7 on top and Tray 6 on the bottom. And we also have a multi-pass feed optioned as Tray number 5. From the feeding point of view, we have trays 1, 2, 3, and 4. Under the main print engine, they come in a configuration like this: 1, 2, 3, and 4. In this case, 1 and 2 can take paper up to SRA 3, and trays 3 and 4 can use A4 only. Trays 1 and 2 can both be set between A5 and SRA 3 paper. On the right-hand side, what we have here is the decurler, which works as an interface to the other finishing options. In this case, we have a booklet maker with the 2 trays and an output tray. Now, let's look at the printer itself. So what we have here is a print engine. On the top, we have an area where we can add the toner when it's required. We also have a paper transport area. So the paper path travels from the inserter in the high-capacity feeder through the engine and moves in a straight path to the finishing units. So what we have here is a duplex paper transport area that we'll cover later on when we talk about the paper jams. On top of the device, we have a document feeder. The document feeder can be used for copying your documents or for when scanning is required. If you want to copy, you just put the document on the glass, close it, and select the option. Or you can put the document in the document feeder and it automatically will feed both sides and scan or print them at the same time. That is the end of our basic product overview. Please continue on to the next section of this video series. Thanks for watching. In this video, we'll cover basic paper loading, the paper path, and troubleshooting paper jams. We have 4 trays on our device. Trays 1 and 2 takes any paper between A5 and SRA 3. To load the paper, you adjust the guides by squeezing the button here. You can then adjust the size and the length of the paper. When you load the paper, put it in the center, adjust one side, and bring the other guide to the back. Every time you open the tray, you have a menu coming up on the user interface to confirm what paper has been loaded. You can see here that we didn't change the paper, so we just click OK. If we want, we can change settings, such as selecting coated, uncoated, or a different paper weight. Otherwise, we click OK. The same applies to tray number 2. Tray 3 and 4 are dedicated trays for A4 paper only. There's no adjustment required here other than loading the paper, choosing the grammage, and selecting the type of paper you're loading. The same applies to tray number 4. Every time you open a tray, you have to reconfirm what stock is loaded. So just click OK if you don't want to change the stock, or modify your settings if the stock is changed. On the left-hand side, we have a high-capacity feeder. This one takes up to 2,000 pages, if it is 80 GSM stock. To open up, grab the handle and pull the tray out. The tray automatically will drop. You have a guide here which is at the end of the paper. Please remember to use both hands so you don't bend the metal shaft. The other guide is also to be adjusted to suit the size of the paper. Load the paper. Squeeze both the guides and move them against the paper. You can adjust these air separators to separate the top sheets, depending on your selected paper grammage. You move the buttons forward for the heavier grammage between 257 and 300 GSM and move them backwards for the lighter stock. When you have completed loading the paper, you can close the tray. There is also a gauge, which tells you how much paper is remaining in the tray. The user interface will ask you to confirm what stock has been loaded. If we didn't change the stock, we just press OK. In some configurations, we may see these additional 2 trays. This one is usually called Tray 6, and this will be Tray 7. The loading of stock into these trays is as we have demonstrated. The only thing to remember is that you're not able to open both trays at the same time. So if you want to open Tray 6, Tray 7 will need to be closed. On top, we have a multi-sheet inserter, where you can load specialty stock. We usually advise customers to use this for unique stock, such as labels. To see if your stock is supported, check the reference guide located in the Fujifilm Business Innovation Support webpage. You load the stock into the tray and adjust the guides until they are touching the sides of the stock. This will also require confirmation from the user interface on what stock was loaded. If there are no changes in the stock settings, you can press OK. Otherwise, you must specify the correct attributes of the new stock. One thing to remember is that trays 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7 will automatically adjust to the size of the paper. They all have a sensor at the back of the machine which identifies what paper size is loaded. This is not the case with tray number 5. You can adjust the width, but the machine doesn't know what the length of the paper is. For example, if I load A4 paper, the machine will detect the A4 width. However, if I load A3, the machine will still display A4 because it can't automatically determine the length of the page. That's why you have to manually specify the size on the user interface. You can quickly select from the standard sizes such as A4, A3, or SRA3, or type custom dimensions if required. So remember, the multi-purpose Tray 5 is a bit more tricky because you have to specify the correct size. When considering the best tray to load your paper, it's a good idea to put the lighter stock in Tray 1 or Tray 2. This is because the lighter stock that ranges anywhere up to 250 GSM can easily bend and turn as it leaves the tray to move up to the printing transfer area. It is also recommended not to use coated stock in Trays 1 and 2 as it can get stuck more easily. Lighter stock can also be loaded in the other trays, but anything heavier should only travel from the left side of the machine. This is because Trays 5, 6, and 7 have a straight paper path, and therefore the heavy stock won't need to bend to get to the print transfer area. If you have a paper jam caused by stock loaded in Trays 1 or 2, you may have to clear it from the paper path to continue printing. The machine will tell you where the misfeed occurred, so the best way to locate the jam is to follow the instructions on the screen. It will guide you through the correct order for clearing the jams so that you minimize further damage during the removal of the paper. For example, if the paper jam is here, you open the side door and you locate the jammed paper. If the paper is halfway through the transport area, you remove the paper. In this example, if you don't properly clear this area and you open the tray, you can potentially rip the paper and some of the paper can be left in the engine, and that creates further problems. So the best way to do it is check on the vertical transport area, remove any jammed paper, then close it. If there's nothing there, then you open the tray where your stock is loaded and check there is no damage to the paper or any incorrect tray settings. If we have a paper jam coming out of Trays 5, 6, or 7, you open the same door, but in this case we will not be checking the area underneath. You'll be checking the top paper path leading towards the print engine through this transport area. As you can see here, any handle with the color blue can be opened and checked for the misfed paper. Again, when you open up these handles, try to remove the whole piece of paper. Do not cause it to rip further, because if some paper is stuck inside, you will have more problems feeding later on. So if you rip some pages and you remove some paper, check if you have all the page in front of you. If there's nothing here, we can check inside the engine. Before we do, we've just opened one of the paper trays, so we'll click OK. Now open the top door to check the paper path within the print engine. For Trays 1, 2, and 3, the paper moves from the trays and bends through the vertical transport area and then moves along the engine through to the imaging unit. If we are printing on stock that has come from Trays 5, 6, or 7, the paper travels on a straight path and will move through the print engine in a similar way. So what we do is we open the tray by turning the blue handle. Then hold it and pull out the printing paper transport area and follow the instructions on the screen. And this is our print area paper path. The paper travels from the left-hand side to the right, and sometimes the paper will be sitting just here. Remember, this area to the right is the fusing area, which is quite hot, so be careful when you're touching any non-blue areas with your fingers because it could be quite warm. We should check this area around here and lift this gate to look for any paper. If there's nothing here, we can check the fusing area as well, and the area here. As you can see, I'm opening the gates by touching the handles with the blue color. If we print duplex, potentially the paper will be underneath, so what we can do is move this gate and check to see if there's any paper and remove it. If there's nothing here, we pull the duplex transport lever straight up and gently push the unit back in and move the handle to the up position. If the handle is in the lower position, as I put it now, the door won't close, so you know that something is not correctly positioned. If the paper jams after the printing unit, that's known as the decurler. We can check the paper path by looking in here, but of course you will also have a message on the user interface to guide you as well. So again, the best way is to actually follow the instructions on the screen and check for any jammed paper that has traveled from the engine. Make sure you check this jam clearance door located on the lower left side. This area is used for clearing any jammed double-sided paper. If there's nothing here but there is still an indication that there's paper jammed in the machine, we have a final unit to check. This area is known as our finisher unit. So what we do here is open it up and follow the paper jams depending on the functionality of the finishing accessories. For example, if we are doing standard flat sheet printing, we might have specified for the output to go to the sample tray on top, so potentially the paper will be jammed in the upper section. As another example, if you are performing hole punching or corner stitching, the paper path is different because we're going actually to the tray on the right-hand side here. So that will be the area to check. If we're creating booklets, for example, and the jam happens during making the booklet, this is the area to check. We just pull it out. This is the unit which enables us to staple the booklets, so we check for any paper left here. If there's nothing here, we push this back and that covers all the areas of potential paper jams. On each device you have a screen which displays potentially the position of the paper, so when we close it all up, be sure there is no orange marks on any of these additional screens. When we print, we can specify a variety of options in the printer driver based on what we're trying to do. So what we do is on the right-hand side, we have a sample tray. If we want to print a small job, we can direct the output to the sample tray. The tray underneath is known as output tray number 1. This one is used if we want to do a job with staples, hole punching, or when we need to do offset stacked printing. All the offset requests will go to the tray number 1, as the top tray does not offset. Also, please remember that SRA 3 stock is not able to offset. Anything under SRA 3 size can be offset here. The tray on the bottom is the output tray for the booklet making feature. You don't specify that tray because it's automatically determined by the printer if you select booklet making. So you have options to select either output tray 1 or 2 when you are sending the file for finishing. That's the end of our overview on the paper path and jam clearance areas. For more information, please ensure to watch our video on the correct way to handle and load your paper. Thanks for watching. In this video, we will show you how to prepare the paper for printing. This includes fanning the paper, loading the paper correctly, and confirming the specific paper size, type, and weight with the user interface. This will ensure the machine is optimized for printing on your specific substrate. We move the guides. when we have coded, uncoded, or unique stock like labels. How to replace the toner cartridge for ApeosPro. Firstly, open the top toner door. And in this case, the screen would ask me to change K to black toner. So I grab that and I pull it straight out. I would put that in the box. Bring the full one out. Tilt the toner cartridge from side to side 10 times to loosen the toner. You can see here we've got some grooves that need to marry up to the grooves on there. Ensure that the arrow is facing up. Then push it straight in until it clicks in. Then close the top toner door. How to replace the drum cartridge for ApeosPro. To replace the drums, we're going to open the main door. And the first thing we're going to do is take it from lock to unlock. Pinch both sides with your fingers. And by holding this, we're going to pull the waste conveyance box out. The message prompted on the screen asking us to replace the yellow drum R4. So we lift this up according to the arrow. Then you have a little thumb screw in there that we're going to turn to the left. Once we've turned it a few times, we're then going to grip this part of the drum and pull it straight out, making sure to handle with care as you do have a drum here that you don't want to touch. So that drum would go into the box. The new drum will come packed inside a light-proof bag. Only remove the drum from the bag immediately before it is going to be installed, as it is sensitive to light. When the drum is removed from the light-proof bag, it will be wrapped in black paper and have 2 plastic orange protective guides fitted, an upper and a lower. Remove the black paper and upper plastic guide immediately before installing the drum. Do not touch the green drum surface and install the drum as soon as possible to minimize exposure to light. Before insertion, ensure that the metal guide on the drum cartridge is rested on top of the metal rail inside the machine, allowing it to slide in smoothly. Then slide the drum in until it clicks. Then turn the thumb screw right to tighten it. On your new drum cartridge, the lower orange protective guide will be visible. Remove it by pulling the guide straight out from the machine. Make sure to lock it by tilting the latch down. Then grab the waste conveyance box, and while pinching both sides, push it in firmly to its place. Put pressure on the waste conveyance box when operating the lever like this to protect the latching mechanism. And lock it. How to replace the waste toner container. I'm going to show you how to replace the waste toner container. Below the main door, the waste toner container is located next to the paper trays. For access, we must open the main door. Here you can see a little groove and a toner icon where you can open the door. Pull the waste toner container up by the tan indicator area. Place the container in the plastic-sealed disposal bag and box that came with the replacement waste toner bottle. This ensures that any toner leakage stays inside the disposal bag. Then place it in your Fujifilm Business Innovation supplied recovery box for us to collect on request. Slide the new container in until it clicks into place. Close the waste toner container door and the main door. This is how you replace the waste toner container. How to replace the Staples cartridge R1, R2, R3. Let us look into how to replace the staple units for both portrait, landscape, and booklet stapling. For portrait and landscape stapling, first open the staple finisher door. Check, and you'll see that the staple unit moved to this position automatically after running out of staples. You can then pull the staple unit out. Remove the empty staple cartridge out from the staple housing. Then insert the new staple cartridge back to its housing. Then slide the staple unit back into the carriage. Next is to replace the booklet staples. Slide out the booklet maker staple unit. Here you can see there are 2 staple cartridges for booklet staple. Push the cartridge down with your thumb and then lift it out. Same steps to remove and insert new staple cartridge to the housing unit. Insert the staple cartridge into the booklet maker staple unit. Repeat for both cartridges. Push the booklet maker staple unit back in and close the finisher door. D6 Finisher Overview and Maintenance. To replace staples on your D6 finisher, locate the staple unit identified by the R1 label on your machine. Then squeeze the handle from the top and bottom, then pull it straight out. Now retrieve the staple cartridge from the staple unit by lifting it straight out. Note that you can only remove the staple cartridge when it is empty. With the new cartridge, insert it by first pushing the connecting protrusion into its slot in the staple unit and then pushing the cartridge downwards until it clicks. With the refilled staple unit ready, place it back inside the machine in the R1 slot. You should replace the staple waste container every time you replace the staple cartridge. To do this, locate the staple waste container identified by the R5 label. Slide the locking lever to the left to unlock it and remove the used waste container from the machine. Insert the new waste container bottom first and then press the top in. Slide the locking lever back to the locked position to hold the new container in place. If you use the hole punch function of your machine, ensure to empty out the hole punch waste tray. To do this, first locate the hole punch waste tray identified by the R4 label on your machine. Pull it out towards you using the handle and then empty the paper waste into a bin. Slide the hole punch waste tray back into place. How to clean the scan glass. Gently open the blue lever right below the document feeder. Wipe the scan glass, located inside, and then gently close. Clean the small scan glass to the left. Then, clean the main scan glass with a soft cloth. How to clean the LED print heads. If you're encountering faded marks or lines on your prints, you may need to clean the LED print head. You can do this by opening the front door of the printer, sliding the waste box lever to the left, and then gently pinching on the left and right hand of the waste box. Slide the waste box out towards you. Next, remove the cleaning wand from the door. Ensure your cleaning wand is oriented like this with the arrow underneath and the guides facing up. Flip up the drum cover and you'll find a small hole to insert the cleaning wand. Gently push the cleaning wand all the way to the end and then pull backwards. Repeat the steps for 3 times. You may need to do this for each drum. Make sure you close the cover, otherwise the waste box won't fit. Push the waste box gently back. Turn the yellow lever to the right, making sure that the pinch clips have grabbed. Then, place back the cleaning wand back inside the door. In this video, we will demonstrate how to calibrate the machine via the GP server to match the desired stock using the built-in scanner. Please make sure the scanner glass is clean and dust-free before calibrating. To calibrate the device, you will need to be logged in as an administrator. From the Job Manager page, along the middle bar, select the Calibration tab. Once in the Calibration page, on the left side, select the plus symbol to create a new calibration profile. This will prompt to select between two devices to perform the calibration. If you have a spectrophotometer, you can select that option, which will be covered in another video. However, we will be using the built-in scanner. From this screen, select the Scanner option. The Create Calibration window will appear, allowing you to make your selections. For most cases, you will usually use the standard setting selected for the calibration method. This is half-tone at 200 dot and standard under calibration method. As for the calibration target, select Uncoded while setting up for uncoded stock. By default, everything should already be correctly selected. Ensure you have your stock set for the correct tray you'll be using. Then select Next. On the window for Step 2, we're going to print the calibration chart. The default amount of copies is set to 5. However, if you have just started your machine, you should run 20 copies or a less color-critical job before calibration. And please ensure to check the image quality of the last print to ensure it is free from image quality defects for the optimal calibration. Select Print. Once the charts have completed printing, select the top printed chart and add it to a stack of at least 5 blank sheets. Place your chart and stack on the scanner glass. Ensure the arrow is pointing to the top left corner. Close the lid and make your way back to your GP server and select the Next button on the Step 2 screen. Now you are up to Step 3. The screen will recap the steps you have just completed, and now you are ready to start the calibration. Select Start. Once it has finished calibrating, you will see curves for each CMYK tone, showing the target, current, and calculated necessary adjustment curves. Now all that's left is to save the new adjustment settings and name the file. We will name this one Uncoded 90GS. Under the name, you can add comments where needed, otherwise, you can go straight to saving. Here you can see the newly created profile, Uncoded 90GSM, which can be assigned to the desired tray or trays. If you need to remove the profile from a tray, you can right-click on the tray and select Unassign. To achieve color consistency, we recommend that operators calibrate their calibration profiles each morning. Firstly, select your existing calibration profile from the list. Select Update and continue with guided steps. There is no need to update the existing profile name, just press OK, and the timestamp will confirm the existing calibration profile has been updated. You can create a calibration profile for multiple stocks including silk and assign to selected trays with the Assign option. That concludes our calibration walkthrough using the built-in scanner for this device. Thanks for watching. In this video, we will demonstrate how to calibrate the machine via the GP server to match the desired stock using a spectrophotometer. To calibrate the device, you will need to be logged in as an administrator. Select the Calibration tab that is located in the middle of the Job Manager page. Once in the Calibration page, on the left side, select the plus symbol to create a new calibration profile. You will be prompted to select between two devices to perform the calibration. This video focuses on the spectrophotometer method, so we will select this option. Make sure that i1Pro 2 M2 is the selected scanning device. Half-tone is set to 200. Set the calibration method to Standard. Set the calibration target to reflect the type of stock you are using. We are using uncoded stock, so we will select uncoded stock. The final step is to ensure that the tray has been loaded with the stock we are using. We are using tray 1, so we need to select tray 1. Select Next. The Step 2 screen will open, and the number of copies will be set to 5 copies. However, if you have just started your machine, you should run 20 copies or a less color-critical job before calibration. And please ensure to check the image quality of the last print to ensure it is free from image quality defects for the optimal calibration. Select Print and the calibration charts will print. Always use the final chart that is printed. Place the chart into the spectrophotometer guide tray. Ensure the spectro is in its cradle. And select Next to continue. Select Use Colorimetry Application and press Start to enable the connected spectrophotometer. Select Start again and instructions and progress messages will be displayed on the screen. You'll be instructed to set the handheld reader to the white reference plate within the cradle and press the button. Place the spectro onto the cradle that normally holds the spectro and press the button on the side once. The spectro will scan the white reference plate and calibrate itself. When the spectro is ready, the instructions on the screen will ask you to scan row 1. Place the spectro on the sliding guide so it is aligned with row 1 on the calibration chart. Press and hold the button on the side of the spectro and wait for the light on top to turn green. Continue holding the button and slide the spectro smoothly across the top row on the chart and release the button. If you haven't scanned the row properly, you will be asked to scan it again. When the row has been scanned correctly, the row on the screen will change color and you will be instructed to scan row 2. Line up the spectro with row 2, press and hold the button and begin scanning row 2 when the light turns green. When row 2 has been scanned correctly, you will be asked to scan row 3. Continue following the instructions on the screen and scan the rest of the rows on the calibration chart. When all of the rows have been scanned correctly, select Complete. The calibration results will be displayed. Press Save to save the calibration file and type a name that reflects the type of stock being used. This calibration file will be called Uncoded 90 GSM2, as we already have a file called Uncoded 90 GSM. Check that Assigned to the selected tray/media is ticked at the bottom of the window and press Save. The main calibration screen will be displayed, and the calibration file that you just created will be listed on the left of the screen. The calibration file has already been assigned to tray 1, but you can assign your calibration to different trays by selecting a tray and using the Assign button, or by right-clicking on a tray and selecting the Assign option. To achieve color consistency, we recommend that operators calibrate their calibration profiles each morning. Firstly, select your existing calibration profile from the list. Select Update and continue with guided steps. There is no need to update the existing profile name, just press OK, and the timestamp will confirm the existing calibration profile has been updated. That concludes the calibration process using the spectrophotometer. Thanks for watching. Firstly, let's cover a basic overview of ApeosPro. Here we have a PDF open, and this is our basic Acrobat print driver interface. First thing I like to check is the sizing. If I'm doing a mixed size original that is A4 and A3 in the same document, I might choose paper source by PDF page size. In this case, my document is 210 by 297, which is a standard A4. Click the Job Properties button up the top. Here we have the name of the printer. Here we have favorites. So under here you can see we have a list of stored favorites that we use regularly. This particular favorite creates a booklet from A3 paper to an A4 size from tray 2. If you want to create a favorites, you do your basic job programming down here and then choose the Save button and give it a name that you want to use later. Here we have output paper size. This is the size of the paper that you want to print on. So, for example, and A4 finished booklets prints on an A3 sheet that folds in half. Choosing your output paper size ensures that you get the correct paper tray, particularly if you use Auto Select for paper tray. It also helps with the next step, which is scaling, so knowing the original size and the output paper size allows us to scale correctly to fit paper size. Here we have double-sided printing, and it's pretty straightforward. Flip on the long side of the paper, flip on the shorter edge of the paper, or you can do head-to-head or head-to-toe. Here we have the option to change the color mode from full color to black and white printing. This is where we can select from a lot of stapling options. For example, here is how you position a staple in the top left-hand corner. If we scroll down, we can select saddle stitching and hole punching options. This is where you can select any folding options. Under Original Orientation, you can flip the orientation, depending on what kind of original you may have. If you select Multiple Up, you can choose options ranging from 2 up to 16 up and position them onto a single sheet of paper. When we select Paper Tray, we get to choose the tray where the paper is to be printed on. You can leave this on Auto Select. However, it's always good to choose your output paper size. It will match the output paper size to the paper tray. Output Destination is where our top tray, stackers, and finisher trays can be selected. Anything that's stapled will go to the finished tray automatically, and anything that's a booklet will go to the booklet tray automatically. This is where you can select the options for offset stacking. There are even more advanced options that can be found under the Job Properties button. In this video, we will look at output paper size. The output paper size is the physical sheet size that you want to print on. Under the drop-down Output Paper Size, you can see an option for Same as Document Size, with the original size of the document being A4. If we leave it on Same as Document Size, it should be an A4 output. However, in order to ensure that our print comes out correctly, it's better to select the output paper size that you want to print on. You can see here that it displays A4 long edge feed or A4 short edge feed. Our original file is a portrait A4 document, so the correct choice would be A4 long edge feed. We can make our paper tray selection here on the right-hand side under Paper Tray. I have loaded A4 in Tray 4. So making this selection will also ensure the correct loaded paper is used. Paper Tray can be left on Auto Select, and this will select the first tray with A4 portrait plain paper in it. When using mixed size originals, best to leave output paper size on Same as Document Size. Remember to select OK and go back to the basic print driver and check Source by PDF Page Size is selected. That concludes our overview of output paper size in the ApeosPro print driver. This video will cover the ApeosPro print driver and specifically the advanced job properties. Here you can see a basic document properties screen. Select Job Properties. You can add and remove favorites by clicking on the gear icon. Select one of the options that you regularly use. Add into the display settings, then click OK. Job Settings. Under Paper, select Inserts, then select Insert at top of Job. Under Tray Media, you will be able to select your tray. Same goes for Insert at the end of Job option. Pages to apply special settings. Here we can add a front cover, back cover, add inserts, and adding exception pages. Select Add Front Cover, Do Not Print, would mean you have added a pre-printed front cover, or we can choose to print on the outside only, then make your paper tray selection for where your cover stock is loaded. Selecting Add Exceptions, we can control by page range, for example, page 2 or 5 to 10 or 12. And we could choose to force those to print in grayscale. You can see the job definitions being added here in the list, so you can confirm your settings. I can see no back cover has been added. So I can select Add Back Cover, selecting two-sided for it to print on both sides. There is an option to edit if we wish to change any of the settings. Some of the other options you can see in the list are stapling, hole punch, and folding. Here we can adjust the shift and the scaling as required. Under Layout, we can choose settings such as Booklet or Multiple Up, which allows multiple sheets. That concludes a quick overview of the advanced job properties. How to use favorites to apply templates in the print driver. At the top of the open window, you can see your favorites area. Selecting this will allow you to see a list of favorites or presets that I created earlier. If I select my favorite named A4, Duplex, stapled from Tray 4, you can see the original size is A4. The output paper size is also A4. That means it will print on an A4 sheet of paper. We have stapling turned on, and the paper tray to use is set for Tray 4. Another favorite I have created is a booklet with cover, A3 to A4, using trays 2 and 5. Clicking on this, you can see the original size is A4. The output paper size is A3. That's the sheet size that you want to print on. I have also saved saddle stitch to staple the booklet, which will create the A4 finished book. The paper body stock is going to come from Tray 2 and the cover will be taken from Tray 5. Create your favorites or presets to save time later on. This video gives an overview of PrintStation Web, which runs on our newest products, including the ApeosPro models. To access PrintStation Web, simply type in your printer's server IP address into a web browser and press Enter. For full control, log in at the top right corner using the administrator username and password provided by your IT department. Once logged in, you can navigate through PrintStation Web and utilize all of its features. This is the Job Held Queue section. PrintStation Web sorts job IDs from lowest to highest in the held queue. You can resort by clicking on the Job ID column or by time and date. Completed queue. These same sorting options are also available in the completed job queue by selecting the Headings toolbar. In the top right corner of the Jobs window, you can expand the Job Preview section. This will display the Document tab. On the menu bar, the Spot Color tab displays the available Pantone libraries. To the left of the Spot Color tab is the Job History button, which shows a list of all completed jobs. To view consumables, click the Consumables button. Here, you can also see the staple cartridges and the waste toner container. On the main screen, you can view toners and paper stock by clicking the right arrow in the top corner. This will show the paper trays and the stock currently loaded in each tray. The bottom corner displays all toner information for the product you are accessing. Double-clicking a job will open its settings. From here, you can change options like paper tray selection, manage color settings, or scroll down to the Output section for stapling, hole punching, and folding settings. You can also adjust the number of prints. For PrintStation Web downloads, on the top menu bar of PrintStation Web, you can download different resources. These include the print driver and manuals for operating PrintStation Web. How to save favorites in Print Driver UI. With an A4 document open, select Print and select Properties. This is the Print Driver UI for the ApeosPro C810 model. Under Original Size shows the file size you have opened. The drop-down for Output Paper Size will determine the output sheet. I'm going to select A4 Long Edge Feed. No scaling selection on this job. Under Two-Sided Printing, I will select Flip on Long Edge. Under the stapling option, I can select One Staple, Top Left. To select our desired tray, use the drop-down under Paper Tray. Choosing Auto Select under Output Destination will use the center tray. As in this case, we have selected a staple option. To save this as a favorite, simply select the Save button at the top of the window. Type in a name that can be recalled later. You can also add a comment. When finished, select Save. It will be displayed in the favorite list of the print driver. This video will demonstrate how to create a booklet in PrintStation Web. To import your files, select Import Jobs from the top menu bar. Browse for your file. Once selected, click OK. When the file has imported, it is held in the hold queue. Right-click on your file and choose Properties. In the Favorites tab, to select the paper for the body of the job, use the drop-down of Tray/Media. I will select Tray 2, A3 coated paper. To create the booklet, select Job Settings, then select Layout. Under Imposition Settings, we can select Booklet. To add staples to your booklet, scroll down the Job Settings list, and in Output, you can select Stapling/Hole Punch/Folding. Under Stapling, select Saddle Stitch. Then select OK. To confirm the booklet settings are applied correctly, you can open the Job Preview window. The Output tab shows the finished booklet, the booklet spreads, and the staples in the middle for the booklet. Under the Held queue, we can right-click on the file and select Print. The job will move through the processing queue while printing. Once the job has successfully printed, the file will move to the completed queue. How to rectify errors in PrintStation Web. Errors can happen for several reasons. PrintStation Web will advise you of what those reasons are. The first thing to note, with PrintStation Web, you need to be logged in as an administrator to correct these problems. As you can see, here is the held queue, the processing queue, and below that, the error and completed queue. In the error queue is a job in an error state. This job will show a warning and describe the issue. It reads, "The print side error is wrong for the paper type." This example, we have an A4 original and require an A4 output. Here, under Tray Media, 110 by 220 envelopes were selected incorrectly. To correct this warning, we need to change it to our desired A4 long edge tray. On the top right on the screen, shows the errors displayed and different settings to check to correct this problem. Press Apply and OK. In the top right corner is the Job Preview window, where you can view the original document. The Output window shows the completed job on the paper size of our choice. Now you can print the job as required. How to create covers and special pages in PrintStation Web. To import your document, click Select File, then select your document and click Import. Now your document is in the held queue. Double-click it to adjust the job properties. To print double-sided, choose Flip on long edge. Next, click Paper. Tray/Media drop-down allows to choose a paper option for the body of the document. Now to add the cover pages, under Paper, select Pages to apply special settings. Select Add the front cover. Make your selection from the drop-down, example, outside only. At the Tray/Media drop-down, I can select the tray where my paper is loaded. Same steps to add the back cover. Choose your preferred settings and select your tray where the paper is loaded. Then click OK. Add exceptions will allow changes within your document. For example, typing 5 to 11 in page range and changing color mode to grayscale will change the selected pages from its color original to an output of grayscale. To add a staple, scroll down the Job Settings list. Under Output, select Stapling/Hole Punching/Folding. Select Stapling to see the available options. Click Apply and then select Print.